So in the previous class, we have started with the finite state machine model, that is FSM model, and we have taken one example of automatic seat belt warning system, right? Apart from that, I had also given you a task to design an automatic tea coffee vending machine based on this FSM model, and the requirements was also given. The tea coffee vending, it is initiated by the user inserting a 5 rupee coin. After inserting the coin, the user has to select one particular option. He can either select coffee or tea or press cancel. If he presses coffee, then 1 cup coffee has to come. If he presses tea, 1 cup tea has to be dispensed. If he presses cancel, the order has to be cancelled and 5 rupee coin has to be returned back to the user. So for this, as a solution, I had given you the hints also, that the hints, I mean, the states there can be four different states, like wait for coin, wait for user input, then dispense tea and dispense coffee. So taking these four states into consideration, we can have an FSM model like this. State A is wait for coin state. State B is wait for user input. State C is dispense tea. State D is dispense coffee. So initially it will be waiting. Initially it will be in waiting state, waiting for the coin. Okay, that is the state A. That is wait for coin state. So when it is in this state, it will be waiting for the coin from the user in the coin slot. When the user inserts the coin, okay, when the user inserts the coin, that is the event taking place. When the user inserts the coin, the state is changing from state A to state B. This is the event, that is insert coin. Action is okay, it will accept that, the machine will accept that coin, and it will change the state from wait for coin to wait for user input. That means once the user inserts the coin, he has to enter a particular input. There can be three inputs that the user can give. Okay, so in the state B, again it will be waiting for user input. This is also a waiting state. It will wait for the user input. That user can input one of the three things. He can either input tea or coffee or cancel. Okay, in case the user presses T button, in case the user presses T button, then the machine should dispense T. That's why when it is in state B, it will be waiting for the user input. Suppose the event that has occurred is T button press. That is an event. Okay. If the user presses the T button, then the state is changed from wait for user input to dispense T. In dispense T, the machine will dispense T for 1 cup. Okay. So the action is dispense T. So it will be in dispense T state. Once the T is dispensed, that is the event. Once the T is dispensed, then its work is done. So action is done, and it will go back to the wait for coin state. Suppose in wait for user input state, the button pressed is coffee. Then it will go to state D, that is dispense coffee. Okay, the action is dispense coffee. It will dispense 1 cup of coffee. And once the coffee is dispensed, it will again go back to wait for coin state. But suppose when it is waiting for the user input, if the user presses cancel button, then it will go back to wait for coin state, and the action done is it has to give back the coin. Okay, if the user presses cancel button, the coin has to be returned to the user and it has to go back to state A. Okay, so this is the way you can have an FSM model for automatic tea coffee vending machine, keeping in mind the four states. That is wait for coin, wait for user input, dispense tea and dispense coffee. Depending on certain events that occur in each state, the state transition happens and certain actions are done. So it's a very simple task, a very simple model for these kind of applications. Yeah, the same explanation of the same. The event insert coin, it transitions the state to wait for user input, from wait for coin to wait for user input. The system stays in this particular state until a user input is received, either of the three, cancel, tea or coffee. If the event triggered in wait state is cancel, then coin is pushed out and state transitions again back to wait for coin. If the event is tea button press or coffee button press, state changes to dispense tea or dispense coffee, depending on what is pressed. Once the tea or coffee vending is over, again the respective states transition back to the wait for coin. Again, it will go back to wait for coin, so that another user can come and insert the coin and get the required item. Okay, so that's about the FSM model for automatic tea coffee vending machine. There is another example That is a coin operated public telephone unit. So earlier, you might have seen these kind of units where you had to insert a 1 rupee coin and you could dial any number from that particular telephone, a public telephone. Okay. So for 60 seconds, maybe it will be working. I mean, one call will go on for 60 seconds. So at the end of 45 seconds, you will get an indication that your time is getting over. You're running out of time. So if you want to continue after 60 seconds, you have to insert another coin, right? So that is a coin operated public telephone unit. You can design this based on the FSM model. Okay, these are the requirements given. The calling process is initiated by lifting the receiver of the telephone unit. It's a landline telephone unit. There will be a receiver and there will be a dial pad, right? So when the user lifts the receiver or off hooks it, the calling process will start. After lifting, the user has to enter or insert 1 rupee coin. Okay. If the line is busy, the coin is returned on placing the receiver back on the hook, right? If the line is busy, he enters, inserts a 1 rupee coin and dials the number. If that particular line is busy, then user has to place the receiver back. He will get that 1 rupee coin back. If the line is through, that means if the call is able to proceed, then the user is allowed to talk till 60 seconds. 1 rupee, 60 seconds. And at the end of 45 seconds, there will be an indication or a prompt or a signal to insert another 1 rupee coin for continuing the call more than 60 seconds. If the user doesn't insert another 1 rupee coin at 60 seconds, the call will get terminated. Okay. If he inserts 1 rupee coin again for next 60 seconds, the call will be renewed. Okay. So that process will repeat for every 45th second of each minute of each 60 seconds. Again, the user will get an indication to insert 1 rupee coin. If he doesn't insert, at the next 60 seconds, the call will get terminated. Otherwise, when the user places back the receiver, call will get terminated. Okay. The system is ready to accept new call requests when the receiver is placed back on the hook. The system goes to out of order state when there is a line fault. So first thing it has to check is if there is a line fault, whether it is out of order. If it is not in out of order, then it can accept a coin, try to make a call. Then if the line is busy, then again it has to return the coin. If the line is getting through, it has to make a connection and allow for 60 seconds. At 45th second, it has to indicate or prompt for another 1 rupee coin. Okay, so that process will continue. So how to make and how to design this using an FSM model? For this, there are, again, it's a little complex thing because there are many tasks. There are different states here. There are actually 9 different states. Okay, state A is ready. State B is wait for coin. State C is wait for number. Once the coin is inserted, you have to enter the number, right? State D is dialing, the dialing process. Then once the call gets connected, that is call in progress state, then call terminated. Then state G is unable to make a call. Okay, if at all some error is there or line is busy, okay, that is line is faulty or line is busy, then it's unable to make a call. Then state H is invalid number input. If you have entered a wrong number which is not valid, then that is another state. Then state I is out of order state. Okay, so these are the 9 different states that can be there in a FSM model for coin operated telephone system. So initially, what it will do is it will be ready. It will be in the ready state. State A is ready state. If at all the line is faulty, then it will go to out of order state. If the line is faulty, that is the event, if there is a line fault, it will go to out of order state. And what it will do is it will display that the line is out of order. You cannot use the telephone system. Okay. When the line becomes okay, then it has to again come back to ready state. That is, it can accept the coin. It has to come to ready state by displaying okay, that the line is proper. Okay. Now when it is in ready state, when the line is proper, when the user lifts the receiver, or it makes it off hook, then it goes to wait for coin. The telephone system will be waiting for the coin from the user. Okay, so the event is lift receiver. When the user lifts the receiver and action is okay, that means it will accept that, and it will go to the wait for coin state. Okay, wait for coin state, where it will be waiting for the 1 rupee coin. So once the coin is inserted, it will go from wait for coin to wait for number state. After inserting coin, the user has to input a number, dial a number. So it will be waiting for a number. So that is in wait for number state. If the entered number is valid, it will go to dialing state. That means it will start dialing. Okay, action is dial. But if the entered number is invalid, then it will display an error. Okay, that error, it will go to state H, that is invalid number input. That means the number entered is invalid. That will be displayed. Okay, display that particular error that is in state H. Okay, suppose, yeah, if it number is invalid, then you have to place the receiver. Then you will get the 1 rupee coin back. Again, it will go back to ready state. Once the entered number is invalid, you have to place the receiver back on the telephone. Then you will get that 1 rupee back, and it will again go back to ready state. But if the entered number is valid, it will start dialing. Once it starts dialing, if the line is faulty or if the line is busy, that means the number of the dialed person. Okay, if it is faulty or if it is busy, then again it has to display error that unable to make a call. That is the state G, that is unable to make call. Then again, if the user places the receiver back on the telephone, he will get that 1 rupee coin back. It will again go back to state. But if the line is available, suppose the line, whatever you have a number entered, if that line is available, okay, then it will go to the call will start. Then the call will start and the duration will be monitored. A timer will be there to monitor the duration, right? That is in state E, that is call in progress. Call in progress. Once the call is in progress, the duration will be monitored, and if the duration ends, if after 60 seconds, okay, after 60 seconds, there will be timeout. In between, at 45 seconds, again, if you keep inserting coin, it will be in the same process. Call will be in progress. But if the coin is not inserted again and the call, it will not get renewed. So at the end of 60 seconds, it will be timeout. And once the time is out, call will get terminated. This is next state, that is call terminated. Okay, then the action is the disconnect line. The line will be disconnected. The call will be terminated. Once the call is terminated, when you place the receiver back on the telephone, it will again go back to ready state. But before timeout also, if you place the receiver, then again it will disconnect the line. That means your whatever you had to speak, you have spoken, and after that you have placed the receiver, the call is getting disconnected. Again it will go back to ready state. So 1 rupee coin will not be returned in these two cases, when you have spoken or when the time is out. Okay, but in other cases, when line is faulty or you have entered an invalid number, if you place the receiver back, the action has to be return coin. Coin will be returned. But in other cases, when you have spoken or when you have utilized the facility, you will not get the coin back. Okay, so this is a simple FSM model for. Okay, this is a simple FSM model for coin operated telephone system. So with 9 different states, as you have seen. So this way you can take any example of an embedded system and implement it or design it using an FSM model, like maybe an ATM, okay, or any such thing. You can take an example and implement it using FSM model, that is finite state machine model. First, you have to segregate the different events, different states, and then the events that trigger the state transitions. With that, you can have an FSM model. Next kind of computational model is sequential program model. In sequential program model, sequential, the name itself indicates it is one after the other, right? Sequential program execution. So the functions or processing requirements are executed in sequence, that is one after the other. So it is the same as procedural programming. In conventional procedural programming, that it is sequential. So same way here, it is sequential program model. Yet the program instructions are iterated, means they are repeated or in a loop and executed conditionally, and the data gets transformed through a series of operations. You are actually using finite state machines and flowcharts for modeling the sequential program. The FSM approach represents the states, events, transitions, and actions, as we have seen, and the flowchart models the execution flow. For the same one, for the seatbelt monitoring system, you can have a sequential program model. So where the execution of functions we can see like this. Okay, so here the thing is very clear. The same definition of a seatbelt warning system. That means when the ignition key is turned on, within 10 seconds, if the driver does not fasten the seat belt, then an alarm has to turn on for 5 seconds. Okay, then the alarm will go off in 3 cases: if the timer expires, that means after 5 seconds, or within 5 seconds if the ignition key is turned off, or if the driver fastens the seat belt, right? So for this, we can write functions in sequential program model in using this kind of C program. Okay, so where the function is seatbelt one. Seatbelt one is the name of the function, right? Then you are writing a function. This is actually a pseudo code, not a complete code. Complete code. This is a function wait underscore 10 seconds. So this is a function. You have to actually write this function. So it is a timer for 10 seconds. Okay. So somewhere else you have to define this function, that is waiting for 10 seconds. Then if you are checking some conditions, if ignition key is turned on, this is a function check ignition key is equal to on. So this will check whether the ignition key is turned on. Okay, if the ignition key is turned on and if the seat belt is off, seat belt is off means it is not fastened. If the seat belt is off means that is if it is not fastened. So before doing this, actually you have to define these terms on and off, and yes and no. Okay, so what is on and off? So you are actually defining this. Hash define on means it is 1, that is true. Off 0. Hash define off 0 means it is false. You are checking whether it is true or false. Similarly, yes and no. Hash define yes 1 means yes means it is 1, it is true, and no means it is 0, that is false. So now you are putting it in a loop. So you are checking if the ignition key is turned on and if the seat belt is off. That means if the seat belt is not fastened, right? Then you are setting the alarm time. You are setting the alarm time as 5. That means for 5 seconds. Set timer 5. This is a function again. Whatever you have the variable inside, it will be those many seconds. The timer will be on. So you are setting the timer for 5 seconds and you are starting the alarm. For 5 seconds, the alarm will be running. Then you are checking a condition. While when the alarm is running, there are 3 cases we have seen. If the seat belt is off, that means if the seat belt is fastened, and it will be on. Sorry, the alarm should be on for 3 different cases. If it does not satisfy these 3 cases, continuously alarm will be on if the seat belt is fastened, or if the ignition key is turned off, or if the timer expires. So in case this does not happen, then the alarm will be on, right? So you are checking whether the seat belt is off, that means whether it is not fastened, and the ignition key is still on, and if the timer has not expired, so it will be waiting. If any of this does not satisfy, that means if seat belt becomes on, that means if it is fastened, or if ignition key becomes off, or if timer expire becomes yes, in that case the alarm will turn off. Or in other case, if it expires, if timer expires, so if none of these happens, after 5 seconds the timer will automatically expire. Then we have to go for next function will be executed, that is stop alarm, right? So this is the way we can have the functions in a sequential program model for the same automatic seatbelt warning system. Okay, so yeah, we have written this in the kind of C functions. So we have this main function, that is seatbelt one, that means seatbelt one as a function, then waiting for 10 seconds. After 10 seconds, if the ignition key is on and seatbelt is not fastened, that is if it is off, then set timer for 5 seconds and start the alarm. If any of these events happen, then stop alarm, right? So this is the way we can have. The same thing can be also explained using a flow chart. As you have seen. Okay, you know the initial thing and end thing in a flow chart we are drawing using this rounded boxes, rounded rectangles. So initially we have ignition key on. Once the ignition key is on, we wait for 10 seconds. Then the conditional things we are writing using a diamond box, right? Ignition is still on. After 10 seconds, again check if the ignition is still on. Then if it is true, why? means yes. You check whether the seat belt is on, whether the seat belt is fastened. If the seat belt is fastened, then end. No need of any alarm. If it is true, that is, if it is yes, then go to end. No need of turning on any alarm. But if seat belt is not fastened, then you set timer for 5 seconds and start alarm. Right? So when the alarm is on, again you check if the ignition key is on. If the ignition key is not on, then you go to end. You go back to end. Here again, if the ignition key is not on, you are going to end. No need of doing anything, right? But if ignition key is still on, again check if the seat belt is on. That means if seat belt is fastened. If it is true, then stop alarm. Alarm has already started. If you are put on the seat belt, then stop alarm. If you have not, if the seat belt is still not on, then you check whether the timer has expired. If the timer has expired, then stop alarm. If the timer has not expired, you keep checking whether the ignition key is on and seat belt is on and whether the timer has expired. It is in a continuous loop till the timer expires. Once the timer expires, again stop alarm. Right? This is the way you can have a flow chart of the same model of the same function application, that is for a seat belt warning system. Right? So next kind of modeling we have is concurrent or communicating process model. So this we will see in next class. So this is in contrast to what we have in sequential program model. In sequential program model, we have execution one after the other. In concurrent or communicating process model, we have tasks executing concurrently. Concurrently means at the same time, and there is a communication between them. So because there might be some dependent variables which need inputs from other tasks which is executing at the same time, right? That's why they have to, tasks or the processes have to communicate between one another. So that is the next one, concurrent or communicating process model. We will see this in the next class.